Hello, welcome. Oh god, man, this music is really loud. And like a lot. Alright.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ. I just turned up the music bot. Like, Jesus.
Hello and welcome to Table Talk this week. Missed you all last week, but it was Thanksgiving. So, had to miss a few. I legitimately think missing last week actually really hurt my my YouTube algorithm stuff.
Oh no.
Because this week has been one of the least performing weeks in a while. Granted, we still have been doing pretty well. We've gained now 18, I think, subscribers this week alone.
Honestly, if we want to get around that next time, because we'll have to do that, we could just pre-record some
That's
table.
True.
It's not the same style, but we could always just pre-record something just for the YouTube.
I don't know. Unfortunately, it's really hard to know because it could be just the fact that Summoner is just a very not popular class.
Yeah.
Or it could be the fact that we just got very poor algorithm bonuses because we took a week off and missed 3 videos we did in that week, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
if you want to,
really
I will at least say, I'll have the free time to do so. So if we just want to pre-record some, or even just, stream on different days, so that we still get the chat aspect, but just, dump them later, I'm more than happy to do that, since, essentially, I think I'll be missing, 2 table talks. Because of me leaving town. Yeah, about 2.
2.
Wait, that's in January. That's what I did last time when I was messaging you. I was looking at January, not December. Yeah, I might miss that's the 23rd and the 30th. I'm gonna be out of town. So I would happily before I leave home, I'll probably happily pre-record stuff for you. Or I don't know if you have anyone else.
We'll have to see. Because I also know that week as well, I'm going to be busy. I just don't know when I'm leaving.
Yeah, which, if we pre-recorded, we get around that issue. We would just,
That's true.
One of these weekends or something, just, we just record something on OBS, and, just have it to drop on the channel at a certain time.
Yeah, we'll have to find out.
Yeah.
I'm keeping us both busy because I'm also editing during the week just to get some videos saved up. Excuse me, especially because I'm not going to be here and, to, do my normal recording on the week of Christmas anyway. The week after I should be fine, but...
That's true. Which in that case, too, we can hash stuff out afterwards, after this. But, I know I should still be able to edit, during that week. I'll have my laptop.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to...
I'm not gonna stop working, so... This editing is going to be my job now, so I can work away from home.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm doing. It's I know you're editing, but I'm I can't not edit either. I gotta keep up. It's really easy to get rusty.
That's fair.
I don't know who Slug is, but they don't sound not real. Slug is real.
I don't know. Some of these calls, some Discord calls I've had with Slug, it might not be
very surreal, very not real.
I don't know where this running joke is. But...
I don't know. And yes, I did get a haircut. It turned very terribly. You know what? You know the worst part about the haircut? I went to go get the haircut at the lady up the street. Just because I feel like I get the same haircut no matter where I go. Because no matter what I tell people, they always trim my bangs too short. Every time I'm hey, cut my bangs eye level, and they're like, okay, and then they cut it, and then it's like halfway through the haircut, they're like, okay, now we're gonna even everything out, and then they cut my bangs off, and it's
Yes,
like,
eye level, your forehead.
yeah.
It's really weird.
I told her this time too. Well, no, actually, the worst part about this particular haircut is she was cutting my hair and everything, and I had it. You know, I went and took a shower that day, obviously, to make sure my hair was nice and everything. So my hair was all nice and floofy, and she cut it, and she cut all around, and she's like, "Oh, your hair looks very good in the front, doesn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, thank you. Finally, you did my hair right." And then she took the water bottle, she sprayed my hair down, and she's like, "Oh, your bangs are so long," and then she cut them off, and I was like, you literally just a minute ago said it looked good. Why did you cut my bangs off?
Oh my god.
Every time. I don't know what it is. I feel like she only does one haircut, and she just autopilots and does it every time. And this is not even just her. Like, I go to, like, Supercuts, and they're like, I do say don't cut my bangs. It gets ruined the second she cuts them the first time. It's like she sprays my hair down, and then just, like, a second, it's just like, bloop, click, and I'm like, I can't say stop now. It's already done.
Honestly, there's, like, I'd like to think, as I've gotten older, I've gotten at least better in like customer service, like just either end as a customer or as like the customer service person, handling situations like socially, except when it comes to a haircut. For some fucking reason, I cannot speak to barbers. Something about like what they're doing, I'm like, I walk in, I'm like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what the numbers they're saying means. I don't know what my haircut needs to look like. I panic. So in that sense, if I see a hairdresser doing something wrong, I'm immediately like, I'm just gonna have a bad haircut now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna tell them I want them to stop or I want them to change it. That is horrifying. I can't do that. Any other profession I can do that. I'll do the excuse me, I ordered this thing, I didn't order this. I'll do that. I'm fine doing that. It's just haircuts.
Well, it's once they fuck up, it's already done. They gotta go through.
Yeah.
I've literally shown like a picture. They have, you know, like they have the books and like, here you go, you know, and it was like a picture of this guy with like a very nice clean cut on one side, and then his hair was up and feathered over, and I'll like do this, and they're like, okay, sure, and then they cut it off anyway, and it's like, do you just
really
hate
weird.
Bangs?
It's really weird. I don't know why.
I don't understand. I feather my hair. I tell them every time, leave my bangs long. I feather my hair. Leave my bangs long. I should just tell them don't touch the bangs, cause God. But then sometimes I need them trimmed, so it's just like, what do I do? Telling them to even cut them a little bit just sentence me to literally cutting off inches of my bangs. It's like,
it's very weird.
I hate it. It's really dumb. Happens every time. Every time. Like this time especially, when she's just like, oh, your hair looks really good in the front, and I'm like, yes, it finally looks right. Spray clip.
That's the worst, because it's like the glimmer of false hope. It's like, is this the one? Is this the finally?
I was genuinely happy getting my hair cut for once, and then it got swiped from me.
Exactly.
But yeah, so yes, I did get my hair cut, and it's okay. You know, whatever, it grows out. I just needed it not to be as long as it was. So one day I'll get a professional hairdresser to cut my hair, rather than some cheapo place that give men all the same haircut.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's like no matter where I go, they always cut your hair exactly the same.
To be fair, the way they do it to me, it looks good on me. So like, I'm fine with it. But I do nothing fancy with my hair. I just kind of have it. How it is how it is.
Yeah.
It's getting long now. I cut my hair based on my school year, so I've mapped it out. So every finals week is when I have to get a haircut. So I have to get my hair cut like this weekend because finals are next week. It's the best way for me to track when I need a haircut.
I don't trust clipping my bangs. It's gonna be weird and just know it. I wish I could cut my own hair. If I could cut my own hair, it'd be great, but I just don't feel like I have the proper dexterity for it. But anyway, my sad hairstyling aside, this is gonna be an interesting table talk, I think. Today is actually a very interesting day in general, because after I'm done today, I'm gonna go right back to sleep, because I'm trying to be up for the new release for Final Fantasy's newest expansion, which is gonna be the biggest expansion release in the game's history. One, because Final Fantasy XIV became really popular this year. And two, this expansion particularly is the end of the story arc that they've been telling for the last 10 years.
They're going to destroy their universe again.
What do you mean destroy their universe again?
They destroyed their universe the first time because they made Final Fantasy XIV. Then they destroyed their universe and made a Realm Reborn. They're going to make a Realm Reborn.
I mean, it didn't destroy the universe.
Didn't they? I saw that cutscene.
No. It didn't destroy it. It got changed. Some things got changed, but not really. A lot of the same characters were there. It's fine. It's whatever. It's good. I'm very excited for where they're taking it, and like I said, this is the most popular Final Fantasy XIV has been, so this is going to be probably their biggest expansion release in the game's history. I don't think the next one will be nearly as big, because a lot of the current craze will die down pretty heavily after this expansion, I bet.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes. I see most people playing it for a few days and then dropping it. So.
Well, no, actually, Final Fantasy has been doing really, really well.
I mean, the expansion. I bet there's people who are waiting for the expansion. Hell yeah, I'll play when the expansion comes out. They play a few days.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
That's going to happen, yeah.
It's definitely not going to be as congested.
Yeah.
But, which is going to be a good thing.
True.
But, yeah, it's, they have this phrase in the game called Raubon Extreme. Because in the game, they have these extreme trials where you do a very, very hard boss battle. Raubon is a popular character in the series, or one of the NPCs. And when Stormblood started, you had to go talk to him. The game was so congested and so many players were huddled around him, you couldn't click him to do the main storyline. So they called it Raubon Extreme.
As clicking the quest giver was his extreme quest.
Yeah, it was.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty funny.
So it's pretty great. I can't wait. I've situated myself pre log out, because I'll log back in where I'm gonna be in front of the NPC I need to talk to for one of the new classes they're coming out with. I'm very excited for.
Meanwhile, the moment we end this stream, I'm going right back to work.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I've been. It's been a busy week. It's getting used to recording twice in a week is rough, because I gotta write 2 scripts and then record and then get on and do it. Because a lot of the time, especially because people are just vicious when they tear into the videos sometimes. They're you got this wrong, or you didn't mention this, and it's just some people are just you failed to mention this. I'm the videos are not an instruction video on how to play a class. I'm literally just sitting here telling you the awesome things in the class and giving small tips and tricks for some of their features.
I can't wait for this next one to come out where you literally say that.
Like, I said it in like the last 2 videos.
The one because I even, just because to get around it, I shifted when you said that. I pushed that to the intro because he said it like midway video. I was like, this would do better in the intro because then people aren't gonna miss it. Like, so that way, like if you're watching in the first minute, you're gonna see that, and I can't wait for everyone to just be like, I don't see it.
Yeah, that's fair.
He did not mention this specific finisher.
Right. Or I bet, especially for Swashbuckler, someone's gonna come at me hard with the math, because I said like, don't worry about your finishers. Literally, you're just getting extra damage on all your attacks anyway. No need to like try to make a cycle of burning and getting your panache every round. And someone's gonna come in with the math and be like, hey, actually, mathematically speaking, you do more damage if you do it this way.
You're gonna get a comment or two talking about that you didn't talk about the styles, despite the fact you don't need to.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to, like, the styles aren't insanely pivotal to your class. Or like the actual, what the class does. They just change the flavor. That's all. It's not like it doesn't change the gameplay, it changes the flavor.
Well, it changes the gameplay, but it's like, I mean, it's such a not important thing to talk about because it's literally...
It's more what I mean.
You can use Tumble Through or another skill check to get panache.
And there's feats for it, and like if you like it, look in the feats, go to Archive and Ethos, just do that. Swashbuckler is really fun with some fun feats. You should do that anyways. But it's like it's not pivotal to understand the class, to know what every single thing is. There's only so many ways you can make, you use Intimidation. This one, you use Acrobatics. I mean, like, that's all it is. You can say it in a sentence.
Yeah, it's like, I can't get people hyped over the different, I can't, like, exactly get through. And yes, it can be hard to convey and tone through the comments.
I bet some of the comments I've seen, like, could very much like, oh, you didn't mention this thing. This thing's really cool. And it could be even, like, weirdly worded, Alex,
ban him.
Do it. I push to talk. 1 second. I'm thinking. It could be even like just, oh, there's a cool thing, and like, here's the cool thing. Like, as, you know, talking, starting a dialogue, being a commenter that's mentioning a fun thing, but it might be worded really weird. 'Cause that happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just, in the end, I try to, my best, I don't go out of my way to, like, argue with people in my comment section. If someone says something I disagree with in my comments, I just leave it alone. I don't touch it.
That's the best way to do it, honestly. There's no winning.
There's no winning that situation. There's no making people feel bad, or no reason to make people feel bad about, you know, what they want. Also, bitch about it to my friends, though. Be like, hey guys, look at this comment, nerd, and laugh at them with my friends.
It is very fun. It is very fun to look through the comments and then just like see it like a really dumb take that you laugh at. That is the extent.
Some people deserve it, though. There's some very exclusionary type people out there who don't want certain people to play their game, and those people deserve to be laughed at. Tabletops for everyone.
Exactly.
Speaking about tabletop being for everyone, let's talk about how often you play tabletop and what causes players to burn out. The whole point of this video, we've just been kind of chatting in the beginning part, but I don't know, it's just nice after a week getting back and just chilling for a bit.
Yeah, it has been nice, like, kind of relaxing a little bit. I miss tabletop, but on the other hand, sometimes it's like, it's nice to just kind of relax for a little bit.
That's true. No, I mean, that's exactly fair. I think there's sometimes a good weeks where, because it's like it's a multi-hour commitment you have every week. And like, especially for me and my job, because I do it all the time. No bottoms in this chat, only tops.
I like that. That's a good comment.
That was a great comment. Slug just going through existential crisis in the chat as well. I really wish I could change the color of the YouTube chat. They just need to give like better apps for the chat bot over in the corner over here, so I could actually make the names that come through YouTube different colors as well. Because I feel like when it's all like one standard color, it's just hard to read.
It is a little harder, but
I also might need to change my chat size so that it doesn't get so like forced into a column.
yeah, I can make it a little bigger.
The hard part is there's just not a lot of space without shrinking the text.
Sure.
So, but yeah, so sometimes I feel like when I miss a session in the week, it's kind of a good thing, because I'm like, I have to get up early. Well, not early, but like I have to get up and like prep for the game ahead of time. So I try to sleep before the game starts so I can be up and ready and fully awake during the session.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, but sometimes we miss a game in a week and I'm just like, day off. I can just do nothing today or rest or do whatever.
Agreed.
I still think, like everyone. Oh, well, nice. And to be fair, it's not a big problem. If you want to talk on the YouTube chat, like, all the better. It makes other people who join the YouTube chat more interested in chatting there. But
use whatever platform you want. I think, what do you use? Streamlabs? OBS?
Streamlabs, yeah.
It's more shitting on Streamlabs.
Yeah, it is. Also, I need to swap off of Streamlabs, because I didn't realize till recently that they didn't have a collaboration with OBS.
Yeah, they just stole it.
They just stole their name and then copyrighted it.
Yep.
They're just such douchebags.
Honestly.
The hard part about giving it up, though, is they actually do have some features that are really nice.
I remember when you switched. I remember the difficulties when you initially tried to change.
Well, it wasn't that bad, but like this whole just chatting thing around I have here was done through Streamlabs. Like, they have this special program for it. So it's like I would have to, I could still keep it, but I'd just do it in a different way. I have to like actually download the asset. But me, you know, I feel like Streamlabs is too shitty to keep using. So
agreed.
But I'm also trying to keep up my other workflows during the week, so that's just one of those things that's going to take a little time to integrate. But we'll get to it as time goes by. But yeah, so as far as like talking about burnout, I think everyone has different tolerances and different burnout levels. And I think one of the things about burnout is burnout doesn't necessarily mean that you stop playing the game. I think there's types of burnout where players actually come, but they're not bringing like 100% because they're in too many games, or because like the weekly commitment's just starting to wear on them a bit. And so they're just coming in and kind of either spacing out or like not giving their all.
That is very true. Because I find this topic interesting because I have very recent experience with all of this. This is something I had a lot of issues with like the past few months.
You know, yeah, let's start with that, shall we? Talk to us about your burnout experience. Let us know.
So, when like COVID first hit, like quarantine hit, and I found myself like, back home, away from like my college town, basically completely isolated from like the friend group I'd been with, like the in-person friend group I had for like a very long time. And I had friends, like you guys, but COVID, so I didn't really want to go over to your guys' house because issues with that. But I kind of made up for it by adding more D&D games because when COVID hit, I know we started playing Pathfinder, like around when it like a bit before, and then once quarantine, we actually started a campaign. I started another game with some friends of mine, and we started another anime game, and then another one, and eventually, partway through COVID, I found out that I had 7 D&D games a week with 1 day off. There were days where I would play D&D, then have an hour and play D&D. That happened to me, and it worked out for a good while when I was during quarantine because I don't regret any of the games. All those games were immensely fun. I have great memories from each of them. They were really, really fun, like games to be in. But on the other hand, I was playing 7 D&D games a week, and I was playing 7 fucking characters. Oh, hell yeah, go play that D&D.
Yeah, see you, Rylan. Go have fun.
But yeah, I was playing like 7 characters. And just when you're playing that many characters, it's just, you don't really turn off. And especially for me, because I'm a person who, when I play a character, I'm essentially method acting in a way. Like, when I play a character, I am that character. So it's essentially, I didn't have a day to, like, be Alex. I had a rest day, but it wasn't restful. I was still, like, drained. And it eventually started getting to me, besides the fact that, like, then also the fact it was getting to me was, like, getting to me. Because, it was like, man, I'm really tired from all these D&D games. But I don't want to, like, leave them, because without these, if I didn't have all these D&D games, COVID, like, quarantine would have been way harder. Because I think I got through that mentally. Like, only because I was, like, basically socializing every day. Like, it genuinely helped. But then things started coming back. Like, school started coming back, work started coming back, my own social life started coming back, and eventually it became a thing of, like, it was a running joke in like my house, like, friend group, like, oh yeah, Alex just plays D&D every day, and he's just unavailable. And eventually it gets to you, and eventually games started ending, and I found myself, like, relieved and super happy. And I had to make a hard decision. I had to drop one of your Pathfinder games, and I was very sad about it, but it was the decision I had to make. And I quickly found out that, like, my ideal game, like, amount of games is 2 to 3. Like, 2 to 3 a week is my ideal.
I'm the DM, so no.
Sometimes. If someone says, if I'm in game and someone, like, for example, if we're on Monday and someone says either Alex or Sebastian, I will respond. Any other time, probably not. If they say my name, like, if someone calls me Sebastian on Tuesday, I'll know they're talking about my character, not about me. But if it is the day it happens, I will respond to it. That's just how I get in character. I basically have the day to get in character.
That's fair.
But yeah, right now, at this current moment, I have 2 games I'm in. There's gonna be a third one starting up, and, like, winter, like, probably next January, I'll have another one. One of my home games is gonna start up again, which I'm very excited about. But then I'll have, like, near my max. And yeah, I'm saving one of my days, like my slots for my home game, because I'm really pumped to have our whole D&D group back again.
So what do you think your optimal, like, number of games in a week are?
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
That is my optimal. If any more than that, it's stretching it a little, and I have to have, like, a very, like, fortunate position. Like, if I were to play more, I'd have to give up something, which essentially right now I'm trying to become self-employed and, like, work from home. So honestly, I could do 4, and then in that case, it's just making the decision for the right game, because I would not join another really long campaign, but I could run 4 if one of them is, like, your 10 session Pathfinder thing.
Yeah.
Especially right now, since I'm not, like, because I'm investing in like becoming freelance, so I actually have free time.
That's fair. Yeah. And I think that's also another thing as well. I think a lot of people really love to fantasize about the long campaigns, but having shorter campaigns is, I think, also good.
It's really nice.
It keeps your creativity up because you're cycling through characters more often and you get more experience, I think. And it's also just good because it's not as committal. You have like 3 months, 4 months of
compared to like 2 years.
Game. Yeah, compared to like 2 years of a game.
I mean, the other thing that's really nice about it is, honestly, and I feel like this could be a discussion, or at least like a part of a discussion down the line, but like, not every character is a long form character. That's just not what it is. Like, some character arcs take like a long time. Like Sebastian, for example, is a long form character. I could not have properly played him if we did a 10-session anime game.
Yeah.
He deserves like a 2-year long game. Someone like Calden, for example, in Pathfinder, he's a fine short term because his little like character moments, like, they're short term. He has other things going on, but it's not as like he's not as deep of a character. He's not as introspective of a character, so it's not going to have that really long overarching character arc. Same with like some of the other characters I'm making currently, like my gunslinger I'm going to be playing down the line. He's not a long form campaign character. I'm probably going to play him once or twice in like in a short campaign total. I'm playing him because I really like Preacher Gunslinger characters. That's the only reason I'm doing that. I'm just making a character I've wanted to play in tabletop for a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I remember as well that I had a serious burnout moment, which is very rare, despite how much I've played. There's been one moment where, for a group of friends, we were playing like an anime game, and it was back at a time when I didn't have a schedule. And it was back at a time where I was very stubbornly against schedules, because I was just like, because I was used to, when I was younger, in high school, playing whenever we got the chance. Because whenever you were on a schedule, it made it easier for people to call out, because it was like, oh, here's this committal thing or whatever. I'm not feeling it, or I can't be here or whatever. Like, a lot of the schedule games I played once a month, even though we should have been trying to play 4 times a month, you know? So I was very stubborn. I was very against making a schedule at the time, despite one of my players saying we should. And now I wish I had thought about that and actually went through with it. So we were playing like 3 or 4 times a week in the same week, the same game. And it got to a point where even Devin like just didn't want to play. It was some serious burnout that was just like, it was because it was the same game, and it was because it was just over and over and over. And it was also like one of the players was barely even like participating. They liked being a part of the story, but mostly listening. So that was less stimulation.
Jesus Christ,
Hi,
7 times sometimes a week? That is, I cannot imagine that. Honestly, I need a week in between my games. I have to have time to like decompress and like process like a session for a character. I cannot imagine playing a campaign and then like doing the campaign again the next day. That sounds like a nightmare.
So like we played a lot. I remember we got bribed to actually play the game with pizza, and it was a really terrible session because we're burnt out, and despite getting bribed into doing it, the session turned out like ass anyway. Which hey Pedark, thanks for the follow. Welcome. I wish I could get that animation for the YouTube one. That would be great. But yeah, so it's just one of those things where there's also just different types of people who play different types of tabletop, and your numbers are going to be different. Some people are monsters and they can play like 5 times a week. And some people play 5 times a week when they really shouldn't play 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in games with people who are doing too much in the week, and they're coming half baked into a session, and then it's just like, hey, what's your character say? It's like, oh, you know, it's like you have to remind them to participate. And like I tell my players all the time, you need time off, take time off, real life before gaming, because honestly, I don't want you here if you're just gonna play like garbage, you know.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of people. I mean, I'm speaking from. I'm trying to. Got distracted there for a second. Um, it's something I had to get like beat into me for a bit too, because I would do that. I would show up to some of your games, and I feel bad about it. Like I regret some of those sessions because or not calling out because I just oh, I had a really bad day today, and like some really wild shit happened to me, or some really stressful shit happened, and I show up and I'm like not giving it my all, and I feel bad. Like after the fact, I'm like, oh damn, I really just phoned it in. But like now, at least as this last year, I've been a lot better of like knowing like, hey, if I show up, the game's gonna fucking suck, and I'm not gonna have fun, or I'm not gonna have fun, and if I'm not really like giving it my all and having fun with this character, like I don't think other people have as much fun. So I've gotten way better at calling out, and it's an important thing. If you got a group that is really like mean about you calling out for like a good fucking reason, like maybe they're not the right group.
Yeah, and sometimes as well, some groups just go harder, you know.
Yeah.
In Paydark, yeah, I think 3 games, 3 different campaigns is the ideal, because that's what I find I also work best under. Granted, I'm in 3 games, or I run 3 games and I play in 2. That's just 5 games.
Yeah.
But for me, playing as a player is is so easy. I don't even have to think about it.
I can imagine.
When you're the DM, it's a very different story, but like when you're a player, you have so much less to focus on.
Yeah, completely.
And to be fair, it's mostly like 4 games or 3.5, because we don't do our anime game as often as we should.
No, it's close to ending, but it's a lot of things have been happening on Mondays.
Well, yeah, it's just Mondays, and someone always has something, and
exactly.
Sometimes you just need an extra day off in the week, and anime is just an easy one to do, I feel, just because we're so close to the end. Also, anime is just not what this channel premieres about, so I get less stressed about missing anime than like Pathfinder, because this is essentially a Pathfinder channel. Granted, it needs to evolve into something beyond Pathfinder, but it's predominantly a Pathfinder channel. But yeah, like, as far as a GM, I can tolerate running 3 games a week, and as a player, playing 2 days is fine. Especially because one of the days I GM then play, which is better for me, because I've actually considered dropping a game during the week just so I can have more time to edit. Because I need, honestly, the YouTube channel has been doing really well, and eventually I need to start producing two videos a week. So it's just hard getting the right amount of time off for that. And that's kind of what life is too, is sometimes you get a new job or something. But a very interesting comparison was made for me recently. Sometimes tabletop is like raiding in MMOs. For those who don't raid in an MMO, like, raids are very serious because it's very hard content where you're doing the same fight over and over and over for like 6 hours. And that kind of content isn't meant for everyone. And if you want to get through the fight because they're so hard, you need to be consistent. You can't be like, oh, it's not raid this week because, because then the next time you come back, you get rusty really fast, and you start messing up and the fight just takes longer to get through. And tabletop's the same way. Like, if you can't commit to like a very serious weekly game, try to find games that are like bi-weekly or something that's a lot easier to manage. I think bi-weekly games are highly underrated. I think
Oh, I
bi-weekly
can
games are
imagine.
really like, as much as people love playing, a bi-weekly game is so much easier to mentally manage because okay, I just got to be here and next week I'll have it off. So.
Honestly, I wonder what if we tried to. Do you think shifting the anime game to bi-weekly would like help out?
I don't know, maybe.
I would
I,
I would bring up that conversation. Maybe that would help.
we'll definitely have to talk about it. We'll
Because
see if
like,
that
yeah,
will help.
if we made the decision, I wouldn't be against it. Like that, if that means we can play consistently, I'll do it.
I don't know. I think it's just always a thing of like something happens. It's a Monday.
It does happen. Like, I mean, last week it was a thing where everything hit me all at once. Where just I had like these little things that all the media like Monday's the day. Monday's the day you get notified of all the stressful things. It's like okay, thanks,
Yeah, and then
thanks
this
universe.
week was just a very unfortunate timing for like on Suzanne's behalf. Um yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't work, and that's fine. Tabletop should not be anything anyone has to stress about playing.
It is a game you play for fun. The moment a game starts stressing you out, regardless of what it is, like if you start getting stressed in playing a game, you could probably re-examine why you're playing it. Because
Well, if
I don't
the
know.
act of playing the game is
Yeah,
stressing you out, yeah.
not like oh, there's a stressful situation. This there's a lot of tension here, but like if going to the game, you're like, man, I'm really stressed out. Like, but even though I'm going to go hang out with a bunch of my friends all day, like, might have to re-examine it. That's something I had to do, and it's something you should watch out for because if you kind of if you push back that feeling for too long, you'll find yourself in a position where I was nearly in, where I found myself just not liking tabletop, and I was like, I need to stop. I love this hobby. This is like one of my favorite things I do every week, and it's a thing I value immensely because of all the good, like genuine good it's done for me. Like my life has outright improved because of D&D. So if I find myself to hate it, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how that would affect me. So, I stopped because I thought I was going to start hating the thing I liked. Um, don't go in that position. It's not a fun place.
Yeah, and that's I think the ultimate thing about managing burnout is manage it so that you don't hate the thing you're doing anymore. Uh Manage your stamina levels. Make sure that you're playing in a way that gets the most fun out of you. Cuz I don't care if you love the game so much. If you're coming at every session at 80%, you're cheating yourself out of 20% more enjoyment and fun
Yeah.
in a game, especially in something like tabletop where it's all about telling your own story. Like, imagine if whatever narrative you're talking about gets 20% better.
True.
you know Hey, Flame Mob, welcome.
Uh, Something else I'll bring up, like at least a little bit for because it relates to the topic of burnout. Um, I actually in like the past few months got myself a little burned out of Warhammer. Like of all things.
Yeah.
Because back where I'm at, we did a massive tournament. Massive, but I say massive. I should not say massive because it was tiny, but it was like a store tournament. We got a bunch of people from like out of town coming in, and it was a thing of like this is the first tournament I've ever done, and so essentially for like a good 2 months, everything I did was like in some way related to Warhammer. It's like, okay, I gotta paint, I gotta do this, I gotta build, I gotta go get this model in time so I can build it, paint it. I have to go talk to this person because I need to get some kits so I can like do some fun conversions. I have to talk to this person so I can do a base. And eventually, once the tournament was done, I'm like, I don't want to touch Warhammer. And so I actually haven't painted and built that much in like the past month or so. I think because like the last model I painted was the model I posted in the Bad Luck Gamer Discord. If you wanna give that a look, see, I painted the Witch King from Lord of the Rings game. That is the last model I have actually painted. And after I went to the Warhammer Open tournament down in Austin to go visit and like look around, uh, I found myself now with like a renewed vigor in Warhammer. I just had to give it. I just had to take a step back for like a month or so, and then come back with seeing like the best of the best. I actually talked to, funnily enough, I talked to one of the best Warhammer players in the world. I talked to him in the elevator of our hotel.
Oh yeah, really? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a dude by the name of John Lennon. That is his actual name. His name's John Lennon, and he's part of the team Art of War, which has like the best players, like an Art of War player, Richard Siegler, which I also kind of talked to a little bit. Not for like any real conversation, just like cool models. But he won like the tournament. I talked to John Lennon because while we were walking back from dinner, I see that there's Domino's outside of this really nice 4-star hotel, and I was like, "That's funny. This is definitely a Warhammer player who did this because this hotel is filled with Warhammer players and like businessmen, like right next to each other. It is a very funny like juxtaposition." Like people in like really nice business suits or like really beautiful dresses, and like some dude in a fucking like like band t-shirt who looks like it hasn't been washed recently. Um,
Yeah.
but I go in the elevator, like we're joking that like, haha, some Warhammer player did this, and I walk and we look in the elevator, and I walk in, and it's fucking like, it's John Lennon, like a person, like one of the top players, and he's holding a Domino's pizza box. And so I tell him, like, because my two friends are like nervous and like, like a little socially awkward, because we all are, but I'm introverted with slight extroverted tendencies. And so I just kind of like say to him, it's a real power move to order like a Domino's pizza to a really nice hotel. And he's like, yeah, true, but it's cheaper than our Wi-Fi. And then I gave him the Wi-Fi password so he could stop spending money on Wi-Fi. So
Nice.
yeah. And after that, I was like, man, I want to play Warhammer again. This is really fun. I want to actually play in one of these tournaments.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like sometimes you need a break. I remember when your Garvey died and it was like, "Do you need a break, Alex?" You're like, "Nah,
I needed it.
I think I'll be okay."
I needed that break. I should have taken it. I regret not doing that.
Well, we ended up taking one shortly after anyway, because I was like pretty sure it was pretty emotionally draining.
It was,
and it's like, yeah. I mean, I've been running games for so long. I know I have the experience, but sometimes it's just nice to step back, refresh. We had to sadly end our Tuesday game because too many like social dynamics kind of got ruined in that game, with people leaving and everything like that, and the current group is just struggling to keep moving forward in some ways.
man.
A lot of the characters were a bit disconnected, and so we're just like, okay, just we're gonna end this game, and we're going to start another one, and hopefully everyone is going to be a lot better connected, and built together, and hopefully
that would help. That happens, and I think that's an important thing to do too. Like on any end, it's know if a game should end, because sometimes a game's not going to actually end. Sometimes it is better for everyone involved to like stop. Like, as much as it is sad to be like, oh, we have this unfinished campaign, on the other end, like, is it worth finishing? Is it worth continuing doing something that's not as effective? Or you could have like way more fun if you just kind of reset. I think that's a good idea.
And I think that's also just one of the pitfalls of longer campaigns is some new people came into the game. It was a campaign I started really early when I got into Pathfinder. And since then, I've evolved as a DM and how I run games. And a lot of the players have gotten better at like making their characters and everything like that. And, like everyone really wants that really good long campaign, tell that really long narrative that finally has that like really good finish. But like that's a hard thing to do. That's a rare campaign. Not all your campaigns are going to be like that. And forcing your campaign to turn into a zombie and just keep moving forward despite having no life, is just not going to get you there in the end.
Yeah, you can't force tabletop. If you do that, it gets worse.
And so, like, I do feel bad. I do feel bad because there's some story setups we were going to do. There's some player stuff we were going to do. One of the players will not be returning for the next, attempt.
Oh, man.
But I think it was for the best, regardless. It was an issue that had been, like, fermenting for, like, a few months now. And I was just like, okay. I keep asking, so that means that there's a problem. If I feel like a game's going well, I'm not going to ask him, like, is everything okay? But, it's just that thing of, like, you gotta play games, and you gotta have more short-term games.
Yeah.
Play games that are not super long commitments. Play games that are 5 months, 6 months long campaigns, If a campaign is meant to be a 2-year campaign, you'll know by the time that 6 months is up. I guarantee. So don't force your games to be long games. If it comes along, it comes along. But sometimes you just gotta let it. You gotta let things settle. Like that's another thing. Because we didn't do that, it's now gonna have an abrupt ending. So what we're doing for this next campaign is we're playing a short-term, or we're playing a short goal game where we have a goal that's going to be accomplished within 20 sessions. And if we feel that the game is good, we're going to keep playing. If we don't, we're going to start again.
That's a good way to do it. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's going to be something I'm going to be doing for a lot more of my games from now on, is having short, easy goals, like even beyond the first goal. Like, if we make it through 20 sessions and we really, really want to keep going, let's do 20 more, If we get through that one, let's do 20 more.
Yeah.
Certain narratives, I feel like, start falling off. Critical Role. People don't believe me because of how Critical Role the first campaign ended. But the first campaign, I feel like after they dealt with the Conclave, the dragons, all the elemental dragons that were like planning on taking over the world. The game just felt like it dragged for a little bit, and like a lot of the later stuff just didn't really feel like the Chroma Conclave. That's what it was. I was close. It felt like the whole Vecna thing just didn't really fit in the narrative for the end piece because nothing had built up to it until after stuff with the Chroma Conclave. And so it felt like going through and doing like the last, like, I don't know, 40 sessions, 50 sessions they ended up doing. Like they had some good stuff in that time, true. I felt like their actual narrative ended before that though. And that's another thing as well. Not all characters deserve to be epic level characters. Like, especially if you want to do like a living world kind of situation. It's really bad when you have high level characters who are just complete joke characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, yeah, Bep understands. Like, campaign 1 was good. The Whitestone arc was really good. Even the Chroma Conclave, I think, ended pretty well. But they just weren't ready to finish their characters at that point, so they kept going, and the Vecna thing... You mean Boblin the Goblin shouldn't be a god? Well, actually, in Pathfinder Galarian lore, there are like a group of goblins that became like heroic level demigod goblins in the lore called like the Licktoad goblins or whatever. They got a chapter actually. They got like a chapter in the Legends book actually. It's really funny. What's up?
Just interesting. I do agree though. Thuck does deserve godhood.
Well, maybe we'll see. You know, when he comes back for future campaigns. Right now, I'm just establishing a lot of things in the world with the Pathfinder like living world stuff, and I think eventually we're gonna actually start like having some crossovers.
Hell yeah.
But there's just a lot going on in Galarian at the moment, and without having two campaigns feel very samey by being in the same. By having the same kind of like aesthetics, it's just going to take some time before those crossovers start really happening.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But, yeah, so, you know, like, I think the biggest problem is crossover episode. Yeah, that'd be fun. We had a crossover episode with Anima.
It was
that was a lot
good.
of fun. Yeah.
That was a great time.
That was a great arc. I really liked that arc. Rosencrantz arc was amazing.
Totally.
But that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have, you know, like a bunch of character building on both sides.
Yeah, totally. I would love to play Calden again at some point because we have to have I want to have Calden and Fiola in the same game, bet. We have to do that again. That was a great dynamic we had.
That's fair. And, yeah, great, of course. You know, like, I understand life's hard, especially with your schedule. We'll be happy to have you. And if short-term campaigns are better for you, then, you know, all the better. Actually, that's a really good point as well. A good way of combating burnout is occasional, like, one-shots, quote-unquote, but, like, not one-shots.
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 I like that bet because I think I've told Cameron this. Calden will come back like only if I know you're going to be in the game. I have made that decision. Like Calden will come back when Fiola comes back because I really want to see how their dynamic changes now that they're like there's been a little time skip.
I think I'm excited for that game. I think that's really interesting, and I think I know where I want to set that campaign to. Actually,
yeah. I also can't wait for Thuck to yell at Calden because that's gonna happen.
You left me. Pulls out gun.
Who gave him that? that'll be a great moment.
I think they actually are two characters that have a very interesting like potential for narrative together. Especially with that moment you two had at the end of New Slate, where you just like tricked that guy into coming over and then murked him.
Yeah,
like,
murdering a man, just doing actual cold blood murder. That was a very important moment.
That was a very intense part of the game.
Hence why I'm really interested how it's gonna come back, because I'm wondering how Fiola thinks about that situation now that there's been like time. Because I feel like when they come back, that moment's going to be lingering over both of them. Whether Calden knows it or not, I think it's going to be a very important factor in the next game.
But yeah, one-shots anyway. One-shots, I think, are a really good way of keeping things fresh. And if we take the interpretation of one-shot as in, like, a single, like, event that's being dealt with rather than, like, one session.
That's a better way to describe it, honestly.
Yeah. Because you can't do an actual one-shot in less than 4 hours.
Yeah.
The current one shot we're doing, the overpowered one shot, is actually a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Everyone's level 15, and it's just super funny to watch them.
I wish I wasn't busy on Tuesdays.
It's all good.
All it is. I would join. I would totally be playing my my automaton. I would be messing with him like the time traveler, because that would be, oh my god, it'd be so fun. I have the character idea. It's just I'm so busy on Tuesdays, and I'm gonna be even more busy like next quarter on Tuesdays.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah,
and that's completely fair.
Oh yeah, it's totally fair. It's just one of those things where I'm like it's the, ooh, I wish that could be me, like looking through the window.
If anything, that's good. Stuff like that sates your appetite for a game and makes it so that when you play, it gets more fun.
I agree. It's you know, it's a good amount of like a player envy. I'm just like, if only I wasn't like busy.
It's also, we got Vale to play.
Hell yeah.
So we got Vale to finally play Pathfinder. And the best part was Vale just like came at me with this idea. It's just like, I just want a character that just destroys people with her tails as a Kitsune. And I was like, let's see if we can do that. And we actually did find a build that allowed her to do that. And it just really got to show off like how versatile and how fun the Pathfinder system is.
It is a very good system. It is, I think, a step down from the anima thing of like, if you can name a character type, you can do it. I think Pathfinder, you can roughly do the same thing, but a little toned down.
Yeah. What the trade-off between the two, anima has like unlimited potential, but that potential also causes some power imbalances, while Pathfinder is a lot more of a balanced experience, but you have to have less options. Yeah. Otherwise it gets too crazy.
You know, there's a delicate balance between amount of options for power creep. If you have too much, some things are just going to be way more overpowered than others. That's also, it's the thing of, I mean, it's a problem with games that have new content coming out. So I can see this happening with Pathfinder, but luckily I haven't noticed it. Is the new stuff that comes out is just objectively way better. Yeah, because I mean, as I'm getting back into Warhammer again, I gotta start dealing with power creep again. Especially because my army is about to get fucking broken this month. I get my new book, and custodians are gonna get fucking busted. Because that's just what happens.
Yep. Yeah, Pathfinder's been pretty good about power creep. We'll see how it continues. I think
it's something I can see being a problem, but I'm really happy it's not a problem.
Yeah. I think my only complaint is Inventor gets crafting as they level up, but Alchemist doesn't.
That's a little weird.
And it's just because that was not a mechanic they had back then, where classes helped up one of your skills. So
that they should errata that or something.
They should, they should have a updated Alchemist features.
Yeah.
That's honestly the biggest one, though. Other than that, like, Bogus doesn't feel like a better spellcaster because it's not a spellcaster. It gets such limited spell slots. And same thing with Summoner. So I feel like they got a pretty good thing going on. I feel like the only difference is something like Inventor getting that skill increase when Alchemist should get it as well.
The stuff you figure out the longer you develop a game. It's just how that is.
I also think they need to do more with advanced weapons. Because Fighter gets features for it, and there's just not a whole bunch in the game currently.
Oh, you mean like...
Sorry, what? You got super garbled there.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. I meant like just, you mean do more? No one's ever told me about this problem. I haven't noticed anything. I don't know. Well,
it's just that there's not that many, you know?
Oh, okay.
It doesn't really feel like anything you should focus on as a fighter, because the advanced weapons are just so limited. And they don't really feel like all that better, honestly. I do think that they will eventually come out with like a martial handbook for like all the martial classes, and that's probably where they'll introduce something like the samurai or the ninja or something like that they had before.
I can see it.
I was so sure that the next book they were coming out with was going to be that book, but no, they're coming out with an occult book.
It is weird that it's like two magic-y things that right after each other. Well, I guess it
Yeah.
was magic, tech, now magic again. Yeah, honestly, I completely agreed with you when you told me that. Like, I also was like, oh yeah, Martial book. I totally expect that.
So we'll have to see. But yeah. So, like a lot of what we've been talking about is just shorter games. Don't over dedicate yourself to your campaigns. And in the end, like, you have to consider how you want to play the game and what kind of fun you want to have and what you want to help build. Because if your DM is trying to build a very serious world and is trying to do something like a living world situation, if you're coming at them with very weird characters, you're not helping them. You're just making it harder to justify such characters existing in the world. And that's not that your characters are bad. It's just that your DM is looking for a different kind of player. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to like joining games, running games, making games.
Honestly, it's just kind of the thing of I kind of think if you're gonna join a game, explain what your character is to your DM before you actually join, before you settle on anything. Because like, talk through it. That's a good thing to do. Don't just join a game and be like, slap your character sheet down on the table and be like, here's my wildest fuck character idea, and they're like, oh, okay.
Well, it's like playing a murder hobo in like an RP game, where it's like, where it's more like a narrative focused game, and you just have a character who's just straight up being a murder hobo, and it's just like, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna work. No, Slug, I think your characters are relatively fine. I'm more talking about like Vile, for instance, or like Audit. Like, I think Audit is interesting and is a very fun niche character idea, but Audit doesn't work as far as like actual Galarian lore is concerned. Unfortunately, Flame Loud, that's not going to happen. They're going to keep releasing classes. That's just what Pathfinder 1 was about. And they're just going to keep doing it with every major book that's going to come out. They do tend to, in those books, though, give other classes extra things. Extra things to make or extra things to work out. I know the Magic book came out with, like, the Elementalist build and, like, a variety of, like, archetypes and such that they expanded upon as well. But no, unfortunately, they're going to keep doing it. And I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I just hope that they keep the power creep down to a minimum. That's very unfortunate. I said your characters are fine. Don't worry about it. I was talking more about Vile and Audit, but Audit's in a not streamed game, so no one else would know what I'm talking about. Audit's essentially a taxman automaton who talks nothing about talks about nothing but taxes.
Yeah, for the type of game, that's a fun character.
It's a fun character. It's very interesting, though. I do feel like Audit's running into a problem of, because their character's so focused on taxes, there's a lot of moments where he doesn't have a lot of things to talk about.
That's the moment you force a character change, or not character, a character arc, or like personality shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like, don't write your character in isolation. I think is a really important factor, and I think it could help a lot of people if write your character with your DM, because they'll help you format it, and if they're the ones who like help you create a character, you'll most likely get like a lot more interesting things like coming out of it, because your DM is like in the process, and like really well.
That's a subject for an entirely own table talk, but I will say, do not selfishly design your characters. This is the number one frustrating thing as a DM that I've had to deal with, is players who make their characters so like self-centered. And it's not that the characters themselves are self-centered, but it's like, if the character story is only going to work if the DM throws you bones to make the character work, kind of thing. Like, if your character is so dependent on your DM doing special things for you to work on it, it's really rough. Or if your character is so, like, not party cohesive, it can be really rough to make a game work when your character is like, no, I'm gonna do this on my own, because, you know, like, your character has some edgy backstory of not being able to rely on their party members because they were betrayed once before, you know, kind of deal. Because selfish storytelling doesn't help a game. It just makes it harder to make your character work with the narrative. It happens when there's characters that need to be convinced to join the party.
I hate that. That's my least favorite shit.
It's like, why would my character do this? It seems like you guys are doing something really dumb. It's just like, yeah, it's kind of the point. Why didn't you make a character who would go with that?
I mean,
kind of
it's a thing that especially annoys me now, because, like, I played the character that is like, I don't trust my party members. You can do that and still work with your fucking friends. Like, that's Sebastian. The entire first, like, what, 30, like, no, actually, I shouldn't even say first. For, like, the 30, 35 sessions, he did not trust any of them. So his character arc was becoming, like, trustable. So he could actually, like, trust his friends and, like, be with them. But yeah, no, it's, you can play the character type of, like, the character that's like, I do my own thing, I don't trust people around me, but still, like, work with them. I specifically designed Sebastian so, like, with a explicit reason for why is he still with the party. So I didn't have that, like, situation, because I hate that. It's, like, my least favorite shit.
And I mean, in general, like, I think it's such a natural thing for players to design their characters in a vacuum, in the space of their own mind. And ignore the launcher noises. I'm downloading the new expansion. But everyone needs to think about what their character is doing and how they are going to help them with the party. Like, if your story does not include your co-players as, like, a aspect of them, like, if your character idea,
I actually do think that's a, I do agree with that.
With
if
what?
you're talking, I don't know.
Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear you, at least.
Hello, can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
That's weird.
There you are.
Everyone can hear me on stream.
Huh. I couldn't. I just thought you stopped talking, like, got distracted, so I was trying to fill the space.
Oh, no. It's okay. Yeah. That's happened twice now. For some reason, Discord, like, fucks up. And one play, like, last time it was Suzanne alone, and everyone else could hear me.
There it is again. Can I hear you again?
Can you hear me now?
I just hear dubstep. You don't have voice mod on again, do you?
I do not.
That's weird, okay. Unless it's you downloading the Final Fantasy update. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it is. I don't know. Everyone else can hear me though. But
Nope.
you can't hear me again?
Honestly, I would not be surprised. It's if it's Final Fantasy. Literally, I can only hear you when you say, "Can you hear me?" And then right after that, I have the stream open. I see you talking. That's very strange.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I wonder if it's because of what, like, if I'm going to test something. All right. Can you hear me now? Hello. Can you hear me now?
Nothing.
That's so weird. When I
Listen.
have the launcher selected, for some reason, my voice doesn't come to you on Discord.
Maybe like it's their mic is directing to Final Fantasy. Like that's what it's trying to do.
But it's not in the game.
No, I can
the
see
launcher
like,
is open.
There are programs that do that. Like games, I know, like it'll just hijack your mic.
That's
if there's
so
an in-game
weird.
mic thing. I know I've had League do that. But I don't know. That is very weird.
That's so bizarre. But okay. Anyway, my topic was you don't make your characters in a vacuum. The more you can make your character with the idea of your party in mind, it doesn't even have to be specific party members. It doesn't have to be super like writing connected backgrounds or anything. You have to make your character with the idea that you're going to be in a party and that's going to help you on your journey.
Exactly. Because that is something I was going to bring up. Like, because it doesn't even have to be explicit. Like, I'm looking for people to help me with my problem. It's like when I played Sebastian, a guy who had, in his head, had the pure intention of, oh, the moment I get strong enough, I'm abandoning these people. To me, I was like, that's not going to happen. He's going to have his character arc before that happens. And so his backstory, if stated, is he wants to get strong so then he can break away and go deal with his past and like destroy all traces of it. Like he wants to go kill like the guy who ran the experiment that ruined his life, or like ruined his adolescent. So in like the meta story, obviously the party was going to help him, but if he explained it, it would have sounded like a selfish backstory of like I'm gonna leave the party and go do my own thing. But obviously no. You can write the selfish character without having him be like a selfish character, if that makes sense.
Yeah. In Flame Love, we're not saying that you have to write the party dynamic into your backstory. That's not what we're saying at all. No. It doesn't even have to be something that the character themselves realizes that the party is going to play a part in it. You, as the player, have to design and orchestrate your character's narrative so that it works with the party. It's it has to be something where the less selfishly you tell the narrative with your friends, the better the game is going to run overall. Like your whole Sebastian thing is a good example, because you could have even had the thought Sebastian's going to try to manipulate them to help him with his journey.
Oh yeah, he did. I had plans for all of that.
And
I had it written down in my notes the way he was going to manipulate all the party members into helping him.
And then you can let your fellow party members know, hey, my character's doing this, and you can even brainstorm with your friends like how can we make this work together so that it feels more organic. Or
honestly,
you can
any other group I would have done that, but because it was like our core group, I didn't, because I knew they would pick it up.
Yeah, and that's something too. Is just like if you have a good group who's really good on picking up on the roleplay and assisting you with it, all the better.
Yeah, I knew they would. I knew. Sebastian had plans for all of it. I knew fucking like Finn would adopt Sebastian. I knew that would happen. Like they would become like really close. I knew that that they would all help him. It was just it's the writing a character who struggles with trust issues, but from a meta perspective is going to trust these people. It's that kind of thing. It's as much as I'll like really recommend and say like, or just as much as like method act. I method act on my characters. I play them as realistic as possible. For me to be a good character in my own head, I have to make them a believable person, because if they're a believable person, I can play them well. That's just how I work. Cameron told me once, like, I make a character by like, I take a situation and I work backwards to like figure out how someone would get there. Because I want someone believably like, all right, this character acts like this. Why do they act like that? As much as I say that, in the end of the day, you're still playing a game. So treat it like a game where you're going to be cooperative. Like, don't like join a game with your friends to be like combative and like going against like everything. Like, you're playing a cooperative game, be cooperative. Even if it's like your character is like, oh, but it doesn't fit my character to do that. Like, make your character fit that. Like, make them do that. You have to make that choice. You can't play a solo campaign with a group of people. That helps nobody. That does nothing. That's shitty.
Yeah. Another good example of like a way to work around such things is, say you have a character who's secretly like a serial killer, right? Not one I would recommend anyone play.
No.
But I will say it's not impossible to tell a good narrative with it. If you're going to have that happen, if you're going to do that, don't force the DM to dedicate 20, 30, even an hour to your character to go off and shank someone in an alleyway. Talk to your DM, say, hey, can I make this narrative work? We're going to be in a big city. Can I just, like off some schmuck every once in a while? And the DM can be like, okay, sure. Yeah. Totally. And there's also the aspect of keeping secrets from your party members. I find that players are really terrible at keeping secrets from each other.
True.
And keeping a secret that doesn't inherently add to the narrative is not necessarily good. You know what I mean? Like, if your player has a secret, let's use this example of like the serial killer kind of deal, right? Either prep yourself to have your character killed off when the party finds out, because that's interesting.
That would most likely happen.
Or have it be for some other reason that's like they need to kill people, or the demon inside of them will go berserk, and they're doing it to like satiate it, kind of deal.
Like, you can make a character like that. If you want them to survive, you have to do something to make them at least in some way sympathetic. It's what every movie does. You have to, if you're going to have a character be doing horrible things, they have to have a good reason for the audience to actually like them.
That includes your fellow party members. They have to like them enough that they don't rebel against them. Secrets are one of those things that, like, I feel like players do because they want that catharsis of everyone finding out. But that is a selfish thing. If you're only keeping a secret so that you can do the reveal and have everyone be like, oh, then you're making a very selfish character aspect that's going to that's very centered on you and not centered on the rest of the party.
Honestly, actually, I'd say it depends, because I've been in like games, and it's been in like specific things in like games where it happens, especially for people who are not like as vested in roleplay. But there are some games where it feels like, oh, I have to keep something under wraps, because like I'll play in a game and I'll have like a character secret I want to reveal like mid game, and because I'm foreshadowing that there's a secret, some players, because they're just not as well versed in role playing or whatever as it be, will almost metagame knowledge of like, oh, I don't trust your character. Why? Because I don't trust your character. Instead of like, I've seen you do sketchy things, it's, oh no, you did sketchy things off screen, so I don't trust you. And then they'll like hound you till you reveal it. Like, that happens. So in that case, then it's a communication thing where you should probably talk to players like, oh yeah, I have a character secret, please, like, it's something I want to have revealed later on. I think it'd be a lot stronger, and it's just good communication at that point.
Well, and the thing is like, you can have player secrets that do add to the narrative and will, you know, will be fun for everyone. For instance, if you're playing like a Battlestar Galactica kind of narrative, and your character's actually like a Cylon, you know, like that's the whole point of the Battlestar Galactica, is the fact that the Cylons, and if you're unfamiliar with Battlestar Galactica,
I am unfamiliar with
Cylons are essentially synthetic humanoids that are impossible to tell the difference from other people. And the whole point of them is that they're supplanting people throughout the series, and you don't know who's a Cylon. And like a lot of the twists in the narrative is that person was a Cylon. And there's some situations where the person and the Cylon are both in existence, but the person doesn't know that the Cylon is going around doing things. And the other parts are like, oh, we found out that they're not a Cylon. And then shortly after that point in the narrative, that person gets switched out. And so like, but we confirmed they're not a Cylon. How are you a Cylon? And it's like, oh, because this happened and they got swapped out like shortly after you confirmed it, you know, kind of stuff. Like in that situation, it can be interesting because that's what the narrative, like that's what it is, you know. Critical Role had a situation. Ashley Johnson ran a one-shot, and one of the characters, they were doing a one-shot kind of based on Alien. Or Predator. Alien.
That makes no sense. It's a horror thing.
One of the characters was a synth. And everyone... A good synth.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, like that's the thing. And Flammo mentioned a good point. If you're presenting a scary situation and the characters are like, lol. Yeah. As players,
not fun.
Your GM, you need to remember, your GM is also a player. If they're presenting you a scary moment, get in the roleplay. Make your characters scared. Sometimes you will make yourself scared by being in the moment and pretending to be scared enough.
True.
It's all gotta, like, everyone's gotta work hand in hand. You can't play selfishly in tabletop. It's a group storytelling, you know, game. You have to tell a story as a group. You have to be working together to make sure that it's fun. The games are much better when everyone's on the same page and participating in it. Don't play as if you're playing on an island, because you're going to ruin the experience for yourself and everyone if you do it poorly. Where, if you're trying to be a team player and you do it poorly, I guarantee you're not going to mess things up for everyone. Unless you're, like, self-inserting your character into places to help with narrative bits. Your character doesn't need to be in every scene to help. You can do things outside of that. But that's a bunch of other stuff. And that's the thing, is just like secrets are hard, because having a secret innately is a selfish storytelling aspect, because it means, oh, I know something about the story that everyone else doesn't. Sometimes that can be used to enhance a game and make it more fun for everyone. Other times the player is just waiting for everyone else's reaction and just wants that catharsis of revealing it to everyone. It's just it's about how you are using your secret. If you're using your secret to enhance everyone else's experience, that's better than the other way around. And that's the thing, is like, and what Flame Loud you're talking about is not necessarily a secret as much as just hinting at a backstory that's not being overtly told to everyone. Because that's the thing. Players in the game are not going to necessarily divulge their whole backstories like right away. And having something your character doesn't want to talk about isn't a secret. That's potentially like working through trauma or whatever. Having a secret, what I'm talking about is like,
my character was an alien this whole time.
My character was an alien the whole time. Or
I think honestly, like if I were to run it, like any of my games, like if I ran a game again, if I were to do stuff like that, I would make it like a point of, I feel like secrets are really fun, but like if only in like a situation where, say for example, like the idea I have is the players know this character is a secret, but the characters don't. So it's like, you know, it could add to some fun stuff, some fun little shenanigans, like keep like going around like weird secret keeping stuff. The players obviously know what's going on, but the characters don't. I had a joke situation like that in one of my games that I think was really fun. We had a running joke because this one character got supplanted like session 1 and like completely changed. They got turned into a slad like in the first session. Their entire character changed, and so a long running joke was they kept the secret that they were a slad, but all of us knew it except all the characters had a running joke of like, oh ha ha ha, like classic joke there character, like their name was Peanut, so it was like, classic Peanut being weird, and Peanut's like, I have seen Limbo, I know what it looks like mortals, and like, ha ha, oh good joke, what a character. I think that's a fun, but that's, you know, obviously a lighter tone secret. That's in a campaign where we had a lot of jokey moments.
I mean, and that's fair. And again, different tones for different games and everything like that. But like, for instance, Gray, when we were playing in our Pathfinder game, had this whole thing of being like an albino goblin and keeping it a secret from everyone. It got spoiled really fast because they can't keep a secret. Or they mentioned like some goblin trait that everyone's like, oh, okay, and you know, it got revealed pretty fast. But I'm like, the thing was, they were doing it for the whole character reveal, like, they're a goblin, but the party already had a goblin, so it's just like, you know, it wasn't going to be that anyway. And there's a thing where I was just like, hey. One, it's not going to be a big thing because the party already has a goblin. 2, you can have it where your character hates being a goblin and it gets embarrassed by other people knowing if they're a goblin or not. So it can be something you can tell the party members in confidence so that they can help you keep the secret from other NPCs and such, you know. Then that's a secret, quote unquote, that's being kept from the world, but not from the party. True. And the party can also join in and help you keep that secret. And it's a lot of things like that. It's just whatever characters you make or you play in your games, just remember it's a team experience. Play with your friends, help them with their narrative moments, and, you know, be ready always to step up and help someone with their moment. See where they're going and try adding to that narrative. Don't play your character from the perspective as a player. Play your character from the perspective as a character in a story, you know. Be someone's tool for increasing their narrative so that they can be one for yours, you know. Yeah. Like, I think the closest I've ever had to having a secret as a player is Nikos being a really shitty person, and that wasn't even really a secret, but he definitely played way shittier when other players, you know, when the other party members were not in the scene, you know. Like, he was just like, I'll keep my evil to a minimum around you guys.
Yeah, it was
because
a
you're my
secret.
friends.
It was a secret, but
It was a secret.
It wasn't like detracting. We all
But
knew he's up to some shit.
Everyone knew Nikos was an evil wizard. Everyone knew. But
if Nico said this is a thing I'm doing, we all be like, fair. Sounds about right.
But like the thing is like, as a secret, he was actually way shittier to other people than he was to his friends. You know, like there was 2 different faces he had. He had his party face and he had his everyone else face. And his everyone else face was mostly, I'm going to kill you if you make yourself any inconvenience to me whatsoever. And I won't be sad. So, you know, there's all kinds of stuff out there like that where it's just, make sure you're playing with your friends. Make sure you're telling a group narrative. Don't force very selfish or self-centered character moments on the DM for them to make it happen. I remember I used to date this girl who we told a lot of stories together, is all I'll say on the matter. And a lot of the time she would have her character get bullied by kids in her school so that she could be like the downbeaten girl or whatever, you know. And so we would have it happen, and then her character would go berserk and like knock one of their fucking teeth out or whatever. And then after that moment, I'm like, okay, no one's gonna fuck with her now because she's batshit crazy. She'd be like, why are they not bothering my character still, you know? I'm like, because you turned into a monster and like slammed one of them into a locker. What do you mean? Of course they're not gonna mess with you anymore. And it's like, no, she wanted to still be bullied, despite the fact that other characters know that that's a bad idea. Because she just had to be a victim in that scene, you know? It's just like, you can't tell stories that way. You can't tell stories with other people that way and force them to like make moments that make your characters look good or whatever. One day I'd like to play a happy dumb kobold sorcerer doctor. Whew, that's a lot. Who's secretly lawful evil and had a high intimidation and a bag full of medical tools that double as well, not medical means.
Honestly, the really bad doctor is a character type I'll never get bored of. I really like that character. And like on either end of the tone spectrum of like the terrifying doctor or the goofy like TF2 doctor. I love that shit. That shit never gets old. That sounds like a fun character.
And man, we got so derailed on the original topic.
We did. We were talking about Burnout.
To be fair, Burnout's not a super fun thing to talk about.
Nah, not really.
We talked about a lot of the normal, like, how you get over it. In the end, it's just, you know, do what you can to make sure that your mental health is taken care of. Do what you can to make sure that you're coming at every session at as close to 100% as you can. And, you know, do what you can. But let's go to the chat now, and of course we can just, you know, talk in the meantime. What are some things you all have done to keep yourself in the game, keep yourself in the narrative, prevent burnout? What are some things you have all done to, you know, take care of yourselves? Maybe someone can get a hint here, like what they can do.
While like chat's catching up, I can at least give a hint of what I do. Because I actually do something now. I have found a little method to keep myself more in games. I struggle with ADHD. I have it's really hard for me to sit down and sit still and pay attention. One of the ways I actually I found to keep myself busy and like work is actually Warhammer. I'll like during sessions I'll build and paint, because it helps me pay attention to things my character's not actively participating in. Because that way I can actually remember what a character, like if say some characters are talking and having an interpersonal thing, I'll listen. Like regardless, I'll listen because I want to listen. But like, it's just my mind wanders. I think of other things, and I have to force myself back in the moment. If I'm actively doing something, I'll stay in the moment. So I can actually like pay attention to really fun like campaign moments where my character's not involved because I'm actively working on something. It's something mindless that takes no thought. So if you can find something to do with your hands, some fiddle thing, some like mindless yet productive task, it's worked for me.
Let's see here. Devin said taking a week off for myself did wonders. That's a great one. Especially for someone who's like always there, like Devin tends to be. Yeah, taking a break, even if it's just a week, can be a lot. Sit in your room for a week, just veg out, do nothing, be a cave troll for a week, and then come back refreshed, socially available to communicate again is always a good one.
True.
Playmod spends a majority of their time interacting with PF2 content. I mean, yeah, if what keeps you invested is geeking out about the game, then all the better. We were just talking about that earlier, actually, how Alex was getting a little bit of gamer envy hearing some of the other stuff we were doing in our games. Like, yeah, what keeps me playing some games is gamer envy. Like, Final Fantasy 14 is actually another one where it's just like, there's so much content I want to do, but I'm just really bad at doing because I am really bad at, like, getting in with, like, other people. Like, I'm bad at socializing on MMOs because I feel like everyone's a kid. Like, I feel like everyone I talk to, they just turn into, like, a 13-year-old. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm so bad at guessing, so I just stopped doing it.
Fair. I don't do that. I don't like interacting with randos on MMOs for the same reasons.
And Jess, I'd love to, but Final Fantasy is down until 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And when it's not down, I'm going to be on. So, yeah, I'm excited. I do want to run some Savage content. We can get some people together, Jess. Totally. Hell yeah. Vibrates. It's everyone's gotta find their own thing, and it's like it says, if I stop I'll get uninterested. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is like, if you can't, if not playing for a week is too much for you, then maybe there's something else you gotta manage, I'm definitely someone who doesn't like waiting. I can't do like play-by-post stuff because I have to like be in the moment to really roleplay. I have to be in the right setting for it, for sure.
Fair.
But breaks are necessary and breaks are going to happen, so everyone has to learn how to deal with that in some way or form. But yeah, finding a balance to somehow do something that you're doing without doing too much of it is just like, look at character builds, get excited for your character. Some people draw their characters to stay involved on a break. I know a lot of my friends like to make music lists for their characters when we're on our breaks.
I love music, like character playlists. They're very fun. It's a great method to stay or get in character. I highly recommend putting together playlists. If there is ever drive for it, I can put some in our Discord. If you want to put some together, like, just, I don't know, at me in the Discord. I'll talk to you on there. I'd be happy to give some advice.
Thanks, Fine Lad. Yeah, we do. In fact, anything tabletop, really. We talk about in the Discord. You can check that out in the description if you're on YouTube or below on Twitch. Hopefully the one on Twitch is still working. That link should still work.
Hopefully. The ones I gave out are the non-expiring ones.
Well, I've done some non-expiring ones, and then people keep telling me they're expired.
That's weird.
That's really weird.
Strange.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Cameron, you have a really good chat. I don't even have to shout out for you.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll shout out your socials like for you.
I mean, I talked to Flame Loud plenty on the Discord.
Fair.
And you know, the only one was recent was someone was asking about a Pathfinder 1 build for like a style of gameplay, like Gestalt build or whatever. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea how I'm going to respond to this comment.
I saw it and was like, ooh, Pathfinder build. Oh, 1E. I don't know what 1E is. I've never played 1E.
I haven't played 1E.
I played Wrath of the Righteous. Does that count? I could tell them how to make that character in Wrath of the Righteous.
I haven't played 1E for like years, so I could not tell you. But for the most part, we do at least keep it up. And if it's not a super particular thing like that one message was, I'll most of the time have something to say on the matter. There's also times I'm just really busy and I just can't respond. The woes of being a YouTuber and having a Discord is,
yeah,
you make it and then you can't be on it because you don't have the time.
At least in the Discord, I'm happy to talk about Pathfinder stuff or like Warhammer or any other roleplay stuff. If you have like questions for me, at me in the Discord, please don't send me DMs. Thank you. That's all my request is.
And just said, I used to write a journal for my character, but life and writer's burnout quit, and ever since so much has happened out here, I just can't accurately retell the events in my character's perspective. Yeah, you definitely don't want to add more commitments to your character than normal. It's good, and being creative like that can be good, but if you're doing that every week, you're adding on to your workload every week, and that's a good way to burn out, as it seemed to have happened. So, you know, sometimes you have a really good idea and you just can't go through with it all. It really sucks when that happens. That would be cool. It would be cool to be like at the end of a game, read your character's journal on the adventure. Like, I think that'd be really awesome. I couldn't do it, but I think that's a really awesome thing. And you know what? Just don't get discouraged. Maybe for some reason your character wasn't able to write in their journal for that time. Maybe they're very busy. Just re-pick it up where you're currently at and continue on. Like, one of the things, like, I have been doing this YouTube channel for 7 years. I've only got into it again after like a very long hiatus. And I've been doing this Pathfinder content consistently for like 4 months now, I think. It'll be 4 months on the 4th, which is coming up here soon. Yes, August, October, November, December. Yep. And we're doing well. We're at 348 subscribers, you know. We did slow down a little bit this week, but we did get nearly 60 subscribers last week, which is huge at 300 subscribers.
I'm about to get you 100 subscribers. Just watch me.
Yeah, right? Can't wait.
Though I have a request for your thumbnail.
Yeah.
Can you include the SMT badge, the includes Dante from the Devil May Cry series in the thumbnail?
The SMT badge.
It's the meme of like it's a little like game cover thing that just says starring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
You'll have to send it to me.
No, you got to put it on the thumbnail because that's like everything in the video.
I was going to add Dante to the thumbnail regardless, but you have to show me exactly what you're talking about.
It's a meme, so that's why you got to add it so that to get the kids to click the video. You see.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about how that was gonna go. Well, I'm glad they didn't die. Because I know that was a concern. There was that meme in the chat. Okay, yeah, I can throw that in. I'll throw that in as like a small little, like, corner piece.
All the kids online, all the memers will be like, "Oh, I know that." They're like, "Haha, I get that joke," and then they'll watch the video and be like, "Haha, I do get."
I see that meme that you guys just put in the chat just now.
Oh my god, that would be a shit
that
show.
Would be really cool.
We did Devil Trigger and like instead of the.
That would be really funny. Maybe that'll be our Christmas send off video.
I can't sing for shit, so
that's the point. That's the point.
I do know all the words to it though.
I don't. That makes it better.
I've played. Here's the thing. I listen to the songs outside of Devil May Cry 5 sometimes, but I have played enough Devil May Cry 5 that I know both Bury the Light and Devil Trigger by heart because I've played those levels enough times. Because I made the decision of, you know what, I'm going to grind and get every achievement in this game, and it's been hell. Some of those achievements are very mean.
That would be a really fun thing to do, just randomly for the channel. Just just sing Devil Trigger on a Pathfinder channel.
Like, what the fuck? That would be super weird.
I'll make that my intro video when people are not subscribing yet. That would be great. I think like, that'd be actually really fun.
They would. The big question would be like, why Devil Trigger? Where's the crossover here?
Exactly. That would be great. That would be really fun. But yeah, wow. I mean, that's the thing too. Is just like if you're watched this long into this VOD, just know like our channel's been growing like very consistently. We got people now, like the chat has been going the whole time. That didn't used to be a thing. We got people posting and joining the Discord all the time now. That didn't used to be a thing. Like, if you want to get on the ground floor of something that's getting bigger and bigger, now's the time. It's a very interesting time, and despite this week being kind of slow, even if we keep the same rate for the rest of December, we'll still be really close to 500 subscribers by the end of December. Like, even if we got like 20 subscribers a week for the rest of December, we'd be really, really close. So, and I don't think that's gonna stay the same. I think we're gonna blow through it in one of these weeks when a very popular video will come out. Because we're getting close to the end of the character list right now for classes.
Oh shit!
I think we got like 6 more or something like that.
We'll have to come up with no more video ideas.
Yeah, that's what I'm very scared of, because it's like trying to keep consistently casual. I want to make the channel that makes Pathfinder available for casual players. That's what I want. Even though I myself am very much not a casual player, I want to make a channel that gets a bunch of people into Pathfinder or tabletop in general.
I think it's an important thing. As much as I love Pathfinder, there's not a great entry point. And of being a fan of many a franchise that has absolutely no entry point, I would like there to be more of them. It is very nice to see when there's just this really cool thing that's really hard to really like sink your teeth into and understand, when there should always be like a good way for beginners to get into it. So if I can help do that, that's one of the reasons I'm really happy to work with you on this. I mean you're the fact that I'll do it because you're my friend, but.
Well, yeah, but you're also like the perfect person for it, because I'm just like, okay, I need something casual and I need it for people with short attention spans.
Alex, got it in one, baby.
Now's the time to shine. This is what you were always meant to be.
The only thing I am not casual when it comes to tabletop is roleplay. I will roleplay my heart out, but anything else, I'm just I am a peak casual. I don't give a shit about any of the other stuff. I'm here to have a good time with my friends. That's all I care about.
I know if a video is gonna do well if Alex messages me like after editing or after seeing a video and be like, I really want to try this class now. I'm like, my target audience says that it's a good video. Awesome.
Yeah, that does happen.
It does. It does a lot. It's just like the swashbuckler video. You send me a message like, I really want to add the swashbuckler archetype to my gunslinger now. And I'm like,
it fits really well.
Nice. I did my job. Jess, we need to get you in on Pathfinder.
That would be so much fun.
I think
you gotta join us
running in one of my games.
It would be a great time. It would. We definitely got to do a game. We got to have you, me, and Bep in a Pathfinder game. It'd be a great time.
You three would be really good in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do that.
We got to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. And Flame Lad, I don't like to disagree, but I can tell you for a fact, getting a lot of people into Pathfinder is like a couple hundred. But someone who looks at the numbers constantly for like YouTube views on Pathfinder, I'll tell you that we don't even make 1% of D&D 5e makes. Even though like I do believe there's a lot of crossover from people who actually really love D&D 5e who would love Pathfinder as well. It's just because Pathfinder 2e has the standard fantasy trope for a universe, so that's not very exciting. And it's a denser system that can be very intimidating. And it's a trait-based game. So you have to actually know what certain traits do in the game, and it can be really confusing.
And also, at least, like, as well as helpful as some places on Reddit can be, like, if I'm trying to get into a system, I don't want to read. I don't like reading. I want to hear someone talk. That's at least me. I feel like a lot of people are the same way.
880 is like perfect target audience.
That's just me. I can't, because I can't sit down and read the book. So I can't really do that. So I can't, like, reading like a wiki, a Reddit, like Archive of Nethys or any of that stuff, I can't really do. It's just something that, like, I just cannot sit down and pay attention to that long. So having a video is the perfect way for me to actually do it. So which is why I've been really fighting for this series. I've been working really hard on it. Oh yeah, no, it's a good observation to have. It is a different perspective. It's one of those perspectives that it's like, oh, I agree with that. I just cannot share it because my perspective is very different. Yeah, I am from the perspective of a casual tabletop fan with ADHD. That is my perspective. I cannot like go into those circles because it doesn't work for me.
And to be fair, it's my job to look at the numbers. Yeah. It's my job to look at how everything is. So it's like, I have a very informed opinion on the matter because literally I'll spend entire days and to be fair, like this, I'm not saying my channel is like the best YouTube, like channel for Pathfinder. We're not even close. We're not even a legitimate channel right now. We don't even have 1,000 subscribers.
Not yet.
We will. My best guess is March. End of March, we'll have 1,000 subscribers, which is going to be super exciting. So look out for that. And yes, Jess, you can smack Alex. I give you express permission to do so.
You can't give that permission. What if I don't want to get smacked?
Unfortunately, in this world, Alex, I hate to tell you, you don't get a choice in everything that happens to you.
Unfair. This is a betrayal I'm having right now. I thought I could join this Discord call, hop in this stream, and like trust the people around me. I see I have been mistaken.
And something to mention on that subject as well for Flame Loud, you have to ask yourself, are you a casual tabletop player or are you an in-deep tabletop player? Because there's definitely a difference between people who love looking up the rules and love theory crafting and everything like that, and people who just want to get into a game because it's fun and don't want to do a lot of research to do so. And the videos I'm making are for the people who don't want to do a lot of research to get into a game.
Agreed.
And, you know, I want to get people hyped for the game. It's baby on baby violence.
Wait a second. This is big. Slug, this is very big. This is the first time I have played a tabletop game with this group and not been the youngest. Holy shit.
We talked about this when we played in New Slate.
No, we didn't. I don't remember.
Yeah, we did. We did.
My memory is non-existent for this.
Because
it didn't happen. My memory is not faulty. It's you. No, we didn't speak about this. Everyone else is wrong. I refuse to admit that I'm wrong here, because if I admit I'm wrong, then that'll be embarrassing. But in this hypothetical situation, I am correct though. That didn't happen.
Okay, all right. See, Alex, you balance out this channel so much. I'm legitimately not kidding. I don't think this channel would be doing nearly as well if it wasn't for your input.
I am appreciative to hear that.
You're just such the perfect audience for what content I would like to create, and it's been working. Like your style that you said you would prefer, I did, and it's been working really well. It blew the channel up from like 40 subscribers to like hundreds every month. I can't say enough how much I appreciate your input.
I am very happy that I am able to help you out in this. It's something I promised. I remember us talking about this like fucking years ago. But me being like, oh, the moment you start doing this, I'm going to help you. And it's happy. I'm very happy that I am helping you, and it is actually helping you. It is a very fun thing to see that, like, oh shit, I'm actually doing something. It is a great feeling. And it just goes to show sometimes you just need a resident dumbass in your circle. It'll pay off.
You really do. But see, that's the thing. It's just like, I think you're deeper than most, but I think you're actually like the target audience for tabletop that needs to be applied to more than what tabletop is currently doing in general. Because there's a lot of nerdy guys out there like that are just, you know, they don't want to look into the rules, but they do want to tell really good, fun stories.
Yeah, I want to make a value judgment on an ability name because I think the name sounds dumb, only to be told months later it's actually really cool and would have fit my character even better.
Yep. Like I think you're the perfect audience for what would be a really big influence for tabletopping in general if more tabletop channels start building videos that suited your tastes.
I can't wait to become a hero of the masses. I'm gonna become this like heroic figure.
I would say you would be if there wasn't XP to level 3 and Dingo Doodles and Puffin Forest.
I love. You know what? I do love Dingo Doodles. I love him. This stuff's very good. Oh no! Am I thinking of a different person? I'm probably thinking of a different person. I'm thinking of this person who made a really funny video on like it was talking about how like in D&D, you know, like rules aren't something you have to follow. Sometimes you can break rules. It's like, yeah, cool speech, but you still got to roll your death save. What are death saves really though? Who's that channel?
That's not Dingo Doodles.
Okay, I thought
Dingo Doodles is an animation channel.
I might have seen their videos, but I really like that person because they're short.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know who this is. I've seen some of their stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah, our D&D memes are also really good. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there for casual gamers. There's not for Pathfinder. And there's not a good bridge between super meme stuff and actual, like, gameplay stuff. The closest is XP to level 3, I guess.
I would say so. Yeah,
because
XP to level 3 is some pretty good, like, casual stuff. I do watch his videos from time to time because he has some other ones.
It's a lot of meme content, but he actually does talk about the rules in some of the videos.
Yeah, I
He
like the
has
ones
some.
where they're longer form. Like I think one of my favorite videos he's ever made was his in-depth coverage of the that really really famous hard one, that hard module, the old Gygax one,
Oh,
the Tomb of Horrors. I
Tomb
say.
of Horrors. Yeah, yeah,
Is that
yeah.
it? Yeah, yeah. That video is really good. I like it because it's descriptive. It goes into like the rules pretty well, and it's funny. That's what matters. I like tabletop edutainment stuff, and there's not a lot of good edutainment tabletop channels. It's story time, like build talk, role play talk. There's very few like edutainment tabletop that I find.
Yeah.
So when I can
So
get those,
like,
I like.
because of all the research I do, the highest viewed videos are animations
Yeah.
and meme content. XP to level 3 is very much like meme content, though there are some very interesting like rule-based stuff. The video where he talks about like the bread cleric,
Oh, the garlic bread cleric.
the garlic bread
Yes!
cleric, yeah. Like those kind of stuff, like I think
Oh my
is a
God.
good like bridging point. And I feel like what a lot of tabletop on YouTube is right now is people who are very excited of the game who explain it in such vivid detail that new people get intimidated because they don't know what's going on. And to people who don't know, for people who don't know anything about Pathfinder, it's really hard to get into. And same for D&D. Like, there's some really good edutainment D&D channels. There is the
RuneSmith's
the
pretty
World
good.
Builder is a really good one. RuneSmith's also good.
I like him.
One of the best ones. Oh god, it's the animation dude.
Oh, Joe Cat?
No. Joe Cat's a good one, but
I love
he's
Joe Cat.
more variety than he is tabletop.
That's right. He did the Idiot's Guide, and those are phenomenal.
They are. It's the guy who does the animated spellbook.
Oh, that guy! Yeah, he's great. I love him.
He's really really good. Zbashu.
Zbashu. Yeah, I love them. They are very cool when they talk about like cool like lore or rule stuff or like fun additions to your game. It's very cool. I also do love the running joke in other channels that he's constantly trying to get people to cast more spells, and they're like, "No, I refuse. I only used the damaging spells because same. I agree."
It's just like there are good ones out there. Like Pathfinder does not have a lot of these videos. D&D does. And I think there just needs to be more channels out there that are edutainment that is informative as it is fun and like inspiring, I guess.
Edutainment's my favorite genre on YouTube. So it's the thing I watch the most. So if it's just applied to tabletop, I'm a fan. Yeah,
so,
I watch a lot of edutainment. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I that's kind of all I watch.
And that's just the niche I'm trying to fill is just edutainment that's comes from a very educated source, but is doing their best to make it a lot more like easy to join into, a lot more casual. And it's just we're in a good place. I think we're actually in a really good place.
Hell yeah.
There's a lot of people who watch it and they're like, oh yeah, this is really exciting. Or like the monk video did really good. We're at 1.6K on that video. And it's not even like a month old. Like that video did really well. Like I'd be really curious to see if the next video you produce, Alex, also does just as well.
Swashbucklers got to get 2K, baby. Let's go.
I hope so. Because if it is, then I gotta really start considering my editing because, my God. But I think it's just because Monk is just one of the more played classes.
That could be it. I would not be surprised if it's because of algorithm and just class content. I could see that. If it's for the actual edit, Like if this video does super well, it could be because of that, and then I can at least tell you what my workflow is. And so if you need to replicate it, because it's not bad, it's pretty easy. Did you say you're leaving me? Leave me with the hounds? I can't do. We've established this. I can't sit here and just talk to chat. I can't do that. Don't like this. I don't like being put on the spot like this. I don't know jokes. I don't know any jokes, dude. Uh, mm, uh. Listen, I've been playing Warhammer. I can say that. I can play. I've been building my Thousand Sun army, and it's pretty cool. No, please.
I'm back.
Thank God.
I had to make sure Suzanne was awake for work.
Okay, good. The chat's going rabid. Can you help?
I mean, this is also another reason why you're here, Alex. Just so that I can leave you in those moments and the chat can
I cannot do solo stuff, dude.
That's the content.
I'm a pure co-host. Oh my God.
But yeah. Yeah, it like I've learned a large part of my job is looking at YouTube stats and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. Like the reason why the monk video is interesting is because the two things attribute to a video getting, well, three things attribute to a video getting clicks. There's the thumbnail, there's the title, and there's the algorithm. If your videos are getting a lot of views, like when the monk was on, I was getting a boost to the algorithm, and it was loosely telling me that. And the channel in general blew up when the monk video was doing really well because all my videos were getting boosted because of how well the monk video was doing, because it was just getting so many views. And so finding out what caused it is interesting, because the two things that people look at would be the thumbnail and the title, but the title is not very different from any of the other ones, and the thumbnail is as different as I can make for these thumbnails, while still keeping like the same recognizable format. And so the third another dark horse it could be is that a lot of people shared the video other places and people came to watch it.
I mean, there is a method on YouTube to even look at that. You can check your analytics and see where people found the video. So if you see a large chunk of people found the video through external clicks, that would at least prove that point.
I've also watched Puffin's Forest Curse of Strahd series, by the way. It was interesting. I like a lot of Puffin Forest's stuff. But yeah, so, you know, that's the thing is, unfortunately, that one I don't know about.
I think any trend might be proven for this next video, because
depending on how popular we think Swashbuckler might be, because Monk, understandable. Every system has had Monk, and a lot of people really like the Monk class. Because recently Ranger did pretty well, and Summoner has not been doing as well. And that kind of checks out, because Ranger is a very popular one, especially with much older viewers who are still like in love with Lord of the Rings and like Aragon Aragon and everything like that.
Aragorn.
That's what it was.
Dragon Man.
That's you're right. I was like, yeah. No, you're right.
It took me a second too. It took me a quick second to remember.
Summoner is predominantly just for people who played Pathfinder 1E.
Exactly. I mean, I could see it like being boosted with the success if like other videos like get boosted and people watching through all of it. It feels like that. I feel like you have to be deep into Pathfinder to like look up like how does Summoner play, because everyone's gonna look like, oh, fighter, barbarian, monk, ranger, the basic stuff. everyone's gonna like boost to those.
Well, and see, and here's the other thing about the monk video. I'm divulging some interesting stats for YouTube for anyone who might find this interesting. We're essentially done though, so if you want to go, feel free to go. Anyone who's still watching, but if you're interested in stats, the retention for monk is average, and it's average with my videos, actually, because I get this graph here. The monk has pretty average performance up until the 11-minute mark, so about halfway, and then after that it drops below retention.
Fair.
So that's why it's like I don't think it's necessarily I don't think it's necessarily the editing.
I can see that.
But then again, I don't know, because that video is an anomaly as far as how many views it got. I don't know if it's just the title or the thumbnail. When it was telling me I was doing really well, it's just like, this video did really well, either due to, the thumbnail or, what it was labeled as. So that could be the thing, or some people really, really like the edits and shared it around, and sharing it could have boosted its views by a lot. That video, I think, has the highest number of subscribers on the channel. 38 subscribers just due to that one video.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to now come Saturday and it just be entirely like stress tabbing back to your channel, monitoring that video's performance, because I'll be doing that for any video I edit for you.
I mean, yeah, is what you want to do too. So you're the same thing as me, pretty much.
Yep. Because at least we're focusing on, I guess, different stats for it. I'm immediately looking like in comments for anyone pointing out editing mistakes I missed, or stuff like that. Because that's what I.
And I was wrong. Actually, Monk is not the highest subscriber video. It's still
really?
Alchemist.
Oh shit! I mean, again, you made a video on Alchemist that broke down Alchemist because that class is fucking wild and complicated.
But only barely. It only has 2 more views than Monk, or 2 more subscribers than Monk got. And to be fair, Alchemist was released like 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, so I'm sure in the same amount of time it'll do much better.
Probably.
But
I can see down the line, like maybe even a few videos in, all of these like videos in the series just fucking boosting a little.
Oh yeah. There'll be a point where so many people will be coming in, and so many people will be binging the playlist. I have a playlist for the videos.
Oh yeah.
I've actually sat down and done it. So, yeah, but some fun numbers for those who are interested in that kind of stuff. I always find it super fascinating, but that's my job at this point. Is just looking at the numbers. Also, it's super interesting, like the number of views we're getting on our one-shots and in some of our campaigns are going up slowly, more and more and more, which is very intimidating for, I'm sure, my players as well as me. More people watching our live play stuff, judging. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this chat. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks to, Flame Loud, Azalea, Slug Runner, everyone here. I pretty much know almost everyone here by name at this point. Flame Loud is surprisingly one of the few I don't know their name, but I'm not gonna press for that one. And Slug Runner. Well, hey, that's your name. That's on you.
You better be referring to me by my full username now. Not the the one I
Hey,
by,
Spider
the one in my Discord. The one in our Discord server. You have to refer to me as that.
Yeah. Glue Boy.
No. My title too.
Looks it up.
Just look at the Discord.
I just see Glue Boy.
What? It's in our Discord. I'm Lord Glue Boy.
Oh, you're not Lord Glue Boy in the official Bad Luck Gamer Discord,
Which you
which
should
you can
join,
find the
by the way,
link.
audience.
Which
But
you should find
I'll
down in
change
the
it.
description or below on Twitch.
I'll change it. And yeah, I can make it a rule in the server too. If you refer to me as anything without my title, that's a permaban, buddy.
And yeah, no, I totally flame out. I'm definitely not gonna say anyone's name erroneously.
It's fair. Your privacy is important.
It's not really much of a privacy thing. There's so many people with so many names, unless you have a very unique name.
There's still that element. I mean, I get it. I'm uncomfortable. People online know my last name. My first name I'm fine with because everyone born in 2000 is named Alex. That's just what happens. That's just a very popular name. I don't like when people know my last name. So, it's fair. It's what personal information you are willing to divulge. And
that's true. Valid. And to be fair, like, I still call Slug despite knowing her real name. So
yeah, same.
It's just one of those things. All right. Good night, Flame Loud. Good night, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. Be on the lookout for our session tomorrow, Shadows That Laugh. We're going to have some fun times. The last episode of that Shadows That Laugh was... Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that campaign is a lot. It's just the horny orcs, man. The horny orcs. It makes for content, that's for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. it's oh god. The jokes last time were really good.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be continuing on with that. And we will probably be at 350 subscribers by the end of this week, which means we're going to be pretty primed and ready for hitting 500 by the end of December. And, oh, yeah, we also officially hit 2,000 watched hours on the channel.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which is half of what we need for an official YouTube channel. We need 4,000. And we're already past halfway there. And with more views or more subscribers, we're probably going to get even more hours more quickly. So we'll probably finish that one before we hit 1,000 subscribers. So I'm not too worried about that.
I can see that.
So, yeah. Anyway, Alex, why don't we say goodnight?
Night. There you go.
Good night, everyone.